Welcome everyone to session 6 of our Niche to Success system. Today we are going to talk about your ROI, which stands for return on investment. But before we can talk about ROI, we need to understand how we actually measure that success. And just gotta reiterate, we talked about this in the very first session we had, but it bears repeating that it really comes down to setting SMART goals. That's the acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely or time-bound. That's the qualities that allow you to track if something is working, if you've actually made your goal or you're getting close to your goal or knowing when that goal is going to be met. So I did just want to kind of nag on you about that a little bit and encourage you to set those goals. And it's different things. You know, right now I have for the new business, the Time Machine, I've got daily goals, I've got weekly goals, I've got monthly goals, yearly goals, and then I've got like my 5-year plan. I mean, and those are all SMART goals, and they all have to be looked at and worked on every single day. But the bigger goals break down into the smaller goals and make those things possible. So keep doing those. And it's really important as we talk today about tracking and how we know if we got ROI and all those things. It really comes down to having something that you want to attain, knowing how many new Facebook likes, how many sales, how many people commented on a post that you did. Those are the types of goals I want you to really start kind of micromanaging and looking at, because those are the ones that are really going to give you the information to help you do more of what's working, which is going to increase everything else. Cool? And then as we're setting goals, this is something I'm pretty much known for, is don't be timid in your goals. There are no goal police. There's nobody's going to come beat you up if you don't meet your goal. But I say go for the moon. Go for the moon, because if you don't get it, you'll still be heading for a star. You're still going to reach bigger places than if you set smaller accomplishments for yourself. And this is scary. I will tell you right now, I'm not immune from the fear of this. I have spent plenty of my, well, you know, I don't know what the percentage is, but there's been several nights in the last month where I've really sat and cried and thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Am I crazy? As I plunged forward in this maniacal adventure that I'm doing. But I also see the really, really big picture. Our 5-year plan is to sell the software that is attached to this business for millions of dollars. Right now, I've kind of got a $5 million price tag on it, but it could be much bigger than that, depending on how we get it out there, how we license it, how we get it into other retail and consignment stores, and build that. For those that don't know what I'm doing, like if you're listening to this, not live, but in the archives, you know, further down the road, as this is being recorded, I am opening the Time Machine shopping experience, which will be a fully integrated antique mall of sorts, a co-op that has everything listed on eBay, and yet there's no dealers as in booth rent. It is much like the Amazon FBA warehouse model, where you send in the items, we do all the work. We will take the pictures, we will list it, we will put it out on the retail floor and get it sold, and then you just pay commission when it sells. So we are about 2 to 3 weeks at the most from starting to fill the store up with inventory. So that's what's going on right now. And it is, and like I said, it's terrifying. I got 6 months free rent out of the landlord, and on the 6th month, we've got to write a rent check of $24,000 a month. Sorry, $22,000 a month. But even up until then, you know, we've already spent about $25,000 between our, you know, build out, painting, signage, security deposit, all that good stuff. So it's fun stuff. But go for the moon, guys. Go for the moon, because the rewards are amazing. Amazing. So let's talk about ROI for a minute. So ROI stands for return on investment. You'll hear me say that a lot. Now, when most people think of investment, they think of money. I just want you to remember that your investment is not always money. Your investment can be time as well. So if you're going to designate a certain amount of time for something, you want to get a certain result for that. Now, that result, as talking about a little bit ago, it could be like in doing a newsletter, your result could be newsletter signups, or it could be likes on your Facebook page, or it could be views on a video. So that's the measure. That's your return on the investment of your time, is to see if people respond to that. So just keep that in mind as we're going through things, that it isn't always about money. It is also your time, which is a very, very valuable commodity, because that is not something you can save up. It's not something you can tuck away for later. You got to use it, and use it well, and use it wisely. And once it's gone, it's gone. All right, so let's first look at the new traffic reports that eBay is giving you. Now, since I did this course, a similar course last year to this year, eBay changed the reports and things that it gives. Now, this is an improvement every single day. They're trying to give us the information that we need. It's not completely fantastic yet, but it is getting a lot better. So let me see if I can just kabooble up one of my eBay stores. My computer will cooperate. There we go. Okay, so this is within your Seller Hub. So when you log in to your seller account, you go to Seller Hub. I'm not on the overview. I'm actually up here on the Performance tab. So this is what you're going to see in the Performance tab. Now, this is actually my plush store. That's just kind of a little labor of love over here, not getting a whole lot of attention, but all the numbers that you're going to see are going to be relative to your business. So don't focus so much on the numbers as how the numbers are laid out and what information they're giving to you. So this is kind of the overview, your sales perspective. Now, this right here, the sales perspective for the last 31 days, be careful about this. Because if you look down here in the small print, they're just giving you the categories that they think most of your active listings are in. Okay, so I'm actually hounding them to go back to give us our top 3 categories of stuff, and also to let us choose which categories we want to pull up and track. So this isn't really a great thing right here. Kind of useless if you ask me, because our categories are not just in those 1 or 2 places. Of course, you have your sales reports, but let's get down here to where we have traffic. And I know this one could be a little perplexing to many of you. So let's just talk first about a listing impression. What is a listing impression? That is when your listing appears when somebody is doing a search. And as you can see here, the way they explain it, it's at this point the buyer is 1 click away from your listing page. So it's an impression is they see a way to get to your listing. So it's the gallery picture and your title and your price, okay? And then they're going to tell you, compared to the prior 31 days, if you've had more or less of those. So you can see in this case, it's been 11.4% less. not going to panic over that. I know that I put the store on vacation. It hasn't gotten a lot of love. This poor little store tends to get last treatment on the totem pole of all of my stores. It's also the one that my mom does my listing for me. So, you know, when she has time, she has time. When she doesn't, she doesn't. So, but it's still, you know what? It does okay for not giving it very much time. Next, you have your click-through rate. Your click-through rate is the number of times a buyer saw an impression and clicked through to the listing page. So, and they give you an example. If your listing gets 1,000 impressions and 5 clicks, your click-through rate is going to be 0.5%. So in this case, I have 0.9%, and that's actually up about, well, a little less than 0.1%. But you know what? I'll take up better than down any day. So we'll take the green on that. People are clicking through. That's a good thing. Listing page views. So now this is the actual number of listing page views from those impressions, okay? Again, this one's down. I would expect when this one's down, this one's going to be down. That's pretty much going to go hand in hand. Now here's the good one, and this is the one that creates a lot of confusion. So sales conversion rate. Now what you have is the number of sales transactions divided by the number of listing page views. Okay, does that make sense? So you take this 822 listing page views and then how many sales resulted from it and divide, and that comes up with your sales conversion rate. Does that make sense for all of you? We'll get some nods in the question box over here. I don't want you guys to get lost on this number stuff. Okay, sort of. So what's not clear? Because I want you to understand these numbers. Because what I tend to find is a lot of you beat yourselves up by seeing the red. And the red is just a sign that there's room for growth. So don't be afraid to ask for clarification. Yeah, I'm not good with the whole math thing either, trust me. I am not good with the whole math thing either, but that's why I'm trying to break this down so it's just really simple to understand. So remember, listing impressions is how many times your item comes up in a search result. Click-through rate is how many times somebody actually clicked over to your listing page. And listing page views is, these are kind of the same. This is the rate, this is the percent, and this is the actual number, okay? And then from this actual number, this is your percentage of sales. How's that? Does that clear it up a little bit? So obviously we want this number up, but remember this is just compared to your prior 31 days, and only you know what went on in those prior 31 days to know if these numbers are good or bad, or if you worked your bum off and nothing is going up, then it's time to look at things. But if you know you kind of slacked off the month before, you know, or you're slacking off this month, last month was better, that's how you kind of look at those numbers. Do you want all green numbers, or is it okay to have a red number occasionally? You're never going to have all green numbers. Really, you want consistency. So I don't want to see any of these numbers like go nutso. Like I wouldn't want to see this like at 30 or 40 or 50%. As long as you're staying in a, I mean, I'd rather this be under 10%, but I know why. I know why I slacked off and why it's doing this. So it's okay. So as long as you know the why behind your numbers, that's what's important. Okay, so the other thing that eBay is going to give you down here is your traffic. So this is all stuff we didn't have before, which I think is really cool. Now up here, it'll show you the dates that it's giving you. So this is 30 days. And you can play around with these dates a little bit, but let's just keep it here for now. So this is the prior 30 days. And what it's telling me, it's just breaking out this information now. So here's my listing impressions now broken out by days. And if you highlight any one of these, you can see right underneath it shows, like on August 14th, I had 3,126 impressions. So now it takes that big number and shows you where those impressions took place. So if you do a marketing campaign to drive traffic over to your eBay store and you see a surge in your impressions, you now know, you can, well, you don't know 100% because it's not telling you exactly where they came from, but you can pretty much conclude that a surge in impressions is going to be the result of driving traffic. Okay, so that's where you can kind of gauge if something you're doing is working. And then over on here, it shows those listing page views. And what they do show us here, which is cool, is from within eBay or from outside of eBay. So now outside of eBay can be a lot of different things. It can be social. It can be a Google link. So you want to kind of look at that and also compare that. So going back to what day that was August 31st. So I also see on that date that I drove some outside traffic, probably social media, because I don't really do a whole lot of anything else with this store. So it tells me 4 people clicked onto one of my listing pages from an outside source. So that's cool. I like to see the outside stuff. So that's how it's giving you that information. And then if you scroll down, it's just this, these are percentages. These are click-through rates and sales conversion. So the blue is your click-through rate and the purple shows the sales made. So like on this day it was 6.7%. So you can really tear into these numbers, and the more focused you are on what you sell, the more you can use this data to make better choices on your inventory and on your marketing. Just keep that in mind. And then these are transactions from all traffic, which kind of, you notice everything highlights when you pick a date. You can look at all 4 of those charts together. All right, and then you can dig in listing by listing on this as well. And this is really better if you have multi-quantities of items. So for those of you who are selling multiples of things, this is really valuable information, because if your item keeps coming up as listing impressions, but you're not getting click-throughs, that's a problem. There's something that's not connecting. You don't have the most relevant title for the item based on how people are searching. So those are the things you're going to want to fine tune and figure out, why is this coming up for people that aren't interested? They're not even clicking through. And then on the other hand, you can look at if everybody's clicking through and nobody's buying, then it could be a price problem, it could be a description problem, something is causing them not to buy. So that's information you can now use to fine-tune and increase the likelihood of a sale. All right? Any questions on that? This is so cool that eBay gives us this information now, because this is new. This is still being fine-tuned. So this is pretty exciting that we can really deep dive into our business. And I will tell you, I'm going to throw a number of like 95% of eBay sellers are not paying attention to this. And this is golden for your business. All right, let's go back to... So we talked a little about this. Conversion rate equals number of goal achievements divided by visitors. So in the example on the seller hub, that was a sales conversion. So the goal was a sale. Okay, so that was your number of sales divided by the number of people who landed on your listing pages equals your conversion rate. But conversion rate doesn't have to just be about sales. And these are the things for your marketing I also want you to be measuring, because conversion rate can equal, let's say you do a campaign of trying to get likes either on your Facebook page or even on a post. So let's say it's your page and you want to get likes on your Facebook page, and let's say, set a goal, say I want to get 20 new likes, right? So now when I make that post, I'm going to look at how many people actually landed on it, how many people actually liked it, and then I can take that number of likes divided by that number of people who landed on it and get the conversion rate that I actually got out of that. So now you can look at your posts that have better conversion rates and do similar posts. And the ones that aren't converting really well, then you kind of don't do any more of those. Okay, and I'm going to go in and show you Facebook in just a little bit here and show you some of the metrics on Facebook. I just wanted to explain what a conversion rate was because it applies to so many different things, and many times you only hear it as relating to a sales goal. Sales are the result of good conversion rates in marketing, meaning you're getting people to start following and watching what you do and what your business does out there. So once you have your website set up, it is really important that you install Google Analytics. This is a free tool that you can put on your website that is going to show you sort of the same information that eBay is giving you, but as it is related to your website. And I'm going to go over and show you. Now I'm going to show you the Niche to Success Google Analytics because they're the most populated, and I can show you how the metrics work. So when you first go over to Google Analytics, actually it's still loading right now, and if you don't know how to find it, simply just go to Google and type Analytics. It'll be the first result it's going to give you. It's going to give you, if you haven't installed it already, it'll give you a little HTML code that either you or whoever's working on your website can install. It goes like up in the header, and it tells Google to track the people that are coming to your site. I do not know why this is sitting on loading. Let's refresh. Come on now. There we go. Okay, so this is the dashboard of Google Analytics. And new users are people new to the site, or it could be somebody who's, like cleared their cache, and now I've never quite known how it knows exactly who's new. I know it goes by IP addresses and all of that, but sometimes those change for the same person. So I don't put too much credence in that, but I do want to know how many users are coming over to the site. And again, this is one of those things, if you're driving people to your website and you have the date on your calendar, you know when a post or something came out, and you see a spike, you go, aha, looks like it's working. And we'll dig down a little more and you'll be able to see that it really is working. It's going to give you information on who is coming to your site. So the browser they're using, most of my people are using Google Chrome. Safari is, you Apple users correct me if I'm wrong, but that is the Apple browser. Firefox, Internet Explorer, yes, some of you are still using Internet Explorer. Huh, I won't laugh, okay, I'm sorry. And then I believe these two are mobile, okay? Edge, pretty sure that's the Droid browser now. But so I've got some mobile users, but I've mostly got Google Chrome. So this tells me most of my people are still coming over from a desktop. And this is one of my pet peeves with eBay driving everything to be optimized for mobile, mobile, mobile. Not all of your customers are on mobile. Many genres of things, the majority of your customers are still going to be on a desktop browser. So you have to know that information to know how to optimize the experience for your customer. Now, if you are catering to millennials and younger generations, yeah, then your mobile usage is going to be way, way up. But for Gen X and baby boomer and on up there, they're still sitting down at the computer. So that's something to keep in mind. It's also going to tell you where your traffic's coming from. So, of course, I would expect most of mine is from the United States, but I have some Canada, Mexico, Brazil, um, Russia. Now, if you see an extraordinarily large amount of sessions from countries like Russia, India, China, Philippines, that might not be a good thing. That could be attempted spammers, hackers, that kind of thing. So I did have a problem with this where most of my traffic was coming from Russia, and we had to redo the whole site and fix things up with that. So this just helps you keep track of who's attempting to get into your site. Australia. Then you come down here, it's going to tell you how long are they staying on the site. Now this is important. Google wants people to stay on your site. It's one of the reasons to post blog articles and not give them all the information in the newsletter, but have them click over to the site and read the full article there, because now they have to stay on the site a while. Videos, embed videos, keeps them on the site, all those cool things. So you can see average session duration based on what day it was. So you know if you posted a video or you posted an article, here's people came over and actually watched that. Now there's things that I have not done with Google Analytics that it is really robust and can do. If you're techie and you want to dig into this stuff, you can actually set goals. There's ways to monetize. Oh my gosh, if you go through this, there are so many things that we're not going to get into today, but if you wanted to dig into this, there's some fun stuff you could really look at. It'll show you real time. So I can click over and see who's actually over on the site right now. And you see there's nobody on the site right now. Now, if one of you were to go over and go to niche2success.com, it would show me in real time right now that I had somebody on the site. It will also say where they came from, the referrals, social traffic, top keywords they use to get there. You can get some really, really important data here. And again, this is all real time under this tab. So let's go over here to audience. You can get your audience information a little more heavily than it was in the dashboard. So now I can look at things like my bounce rate. Now I have a pretty high bounce rate here. You want this number lower. Under 50% would be best. A lot of this, though, is just people checking over to get a link on something. Because it's a membership site, it works a little differently. But if you have a site where you want people to stick around for a while and you see your bounce rate going up, it's time to take a look and see what needs to be fixed. But it'll break down your page views, sessions, what language everybody's coming in from, countries, browser operating system, mobile operating system, which will tell you, are they coming in off of a Droid? Are they coming in off of an iPhone? So much great information here. All right, let's go down to acquisition. Acquisition is where people are coming from. Now, this will be really important too for your marketing and your campaigns. So you can see most of mine comes direct. A lot of that is because my appsters already have that direct link. They come over. The second largest is social. By keeping up my Facebook pages and posting links and marketing from social, you can see that I get 144 sessions, which is 144 people coming over to go into the site from social. Organic search, that means someone did a search and it just came through from keywords that they found that brought them over. That's where your blog articles come into play. That's where posting videos on YouTube come into play. Those will come through organic search. Other. Now we can click this and try to figure out what that other is. So this is something called social network, which I am not familiar if that is a website or what that is, but it just says social network, and that was like this one day here, and I'm assuming this is like a referral site, but it'll tell you where that traffic's coming. Let's go back to channels. Oh, and you can click on any one of these. So I can actually click on that organic search, and it's going to tell me the keyword. So apparently there's a sharebutton.to. Some people came through. Look at people search Danny. Now I know people are searching Danny. Auction versus fixed price house sales. Cloud and rainbow. I don't quite understand that one, but who am I to second guess the search? eBay success system. See, now that's one I hadn't thought about. I call this the niche to success system, and people are searching for eBay success system. Goodwill toys prices. I mean, this is interesting information. This is what people actually typed into search and found my website through that search. Same thing with social. We'll go back and click on social, and it's going to tell me where my social stuff is coming from. Facebook, of course, Blogger, which is interesting because I don't use Blogger, but it could be because somebody did a backlink and shared or mentioned an article that I did, so it came from Blogger. So lots of great information of where your traffic is coming from. And then it'll show behavior. It'll show the flow that your customers are going through. Where are they landing? What is, where are they coming to first? So this is like homepage, but here's one, eBay Fall Seller Update. I got a lot of hits on that. My appsters go into the dashboard and the academy, but it's the blog article. So this is where you can see if your blog articles are actually getting some juice. That you're getting traffic based on having those because it's going out on social and it's going out on search engines and people are finding it through the keywords in your blogs. Going back, how do you see mobile? I believe that was under audience, right? So let's go look. That was under, actually, I think you can go under technology and look at browser and OS, operating system. So again, Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari in-app. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know what they're calling like the iPhone mobile. That might be what that is. Edge. Maybe any of you who are iPhone users know what your operating system on your iPhone is. Amazon Silk? I've never heard of that. Android and Opera Mini. So this will tell you what operating system, and that's how you can tell whether it is mobile. Now there is a mobile button. I've never actually clicked on this one. Let's see if it tells me. Aha, look at that. Desktop. So 62.38% desktop, 30% mobile, and 7.36% tablet. There you go. There's that information you wanted to see. So you can really dig in and see who's coming to your site from different places. That's cool. I never clicked on that before. Like I said, there is so much information in here, and I don't want you guys to get completely lost. Make sure you're using your time wisely in here because there's just a lot of information. Conversions. So this is where you can set goals. If you do have e-commerce on your site, you can see there's reports that you can set up. There's all kinds of amazing things you can do with Google Analytics. You can customize it and make it what you need it to be. All right. let us push ahead. So now let's look at some of those social media insights. So I love going over and looking at the information that Facebook gives especially. That's the one I spend most of my time on. And I would say if you only had one to choose from, go with that. Let me just pull up. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I am going to pull up. One second, guys. Should have been prepared. We'll pull up other utterly good stuff. All right. And it's okay if you only choose to do, one or two of the social channels. There's no shame in that. I'd rather you do one than do none, or I'd rather you do one than do 20 and not give any of them your best attention. That's another thing. All right, so here is my Utterly Good Stuff Facebook page. And I don't know if you guys noticed, they changed the layout on these just a bit. But if you go up here, see where it says Insights up here at the top? You can click that open, and this is going to give you oodles and oodles of information. Again, so you can see page views, page likes, your reach, post engagement, videos. Come down here, it's going to show your 5 most recent posts. It's going to tell you what type of post it was. So this was a link. These were photos. I'm targeting public. I didn't do any specific targeting on these, just open to everyone. And then it's going to show you your reach. Now, every one of these you can hover over. If you have done a boost, that's where you pay Facebook to put your post out there to people you normally wouldn't go to, just that it, were associated with you. This is going to give you a lot of information on that, but it's also going to show you how good your posts are. So this one, 443 organic results. That's pretty good. That just means it's coming up in people's timelines, and then because they're engaging in it, their friends are seeing it, and so on and so on. Come down here. Again, 576. Let me see if I can find one that I actually boosted. I haven't boosted one for a while in here. I know there must be one. Da, 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 da. Oh my goodness. Hey baby, it's time for me to boost post, huh? Usually the number will be much, much bigger. Here we go. All right. So here is a boosted post that I did. So now you can see I had 232 organic and 1,593 paid. That means that went in front of people that Facebook chose based on what I put for the criteria in the audience, and that got some good reach. And then forget what my category is here. So this is engagement. Okay, so also in that, it's going to show you the engagement. So 102 of that organic actually engaged with it by a like or a comment, but 119 of the boosted also did. Now that's a really good metric to watch, because if you get new people that wouldn't normally have, engaged or looked at your stuff, and you're getting them to engage, then you know you did something right and you want to do more of that. And let's see, I think this will just open it up and give more fine-tuned info, maybe. Come on. Spin, spin, spin. So this is going to just dig in. This shows you the ad that I did. I made a meme. I put my URL in here, and I advertised a sale that we were doing. But because it was cute with babies and puppies, people, were more likely to click on it and share it and say how cute it was and like it and all that good stuff. So here it's going to tell me exactly what people did with that engagement. They clicked on the photo, they clicked on the link, They liked the post and they shared it. I got 9 shares from that. 9 shares for a sale I was running. So that's some pretty cool stuff. All right. So now you can take that information, look at your other reports, like we started with over on Seller Hub, and see if you got a spike out of that. Then you're going to know, you saw how many clicks it got, you know how many people clicked over and viewed, and then you can look at your conversion rate on that day to know the sales that you actually got from that post and from spending. Like I spent $20. So, you know, if I sold $60 that day because of that ad, that was a good ROI. I like a 3 times ROI. So does that make sense on that? And you can also look when your fans are online. It's going to give you all kinds of information up here. Post types, photo, link. It's going to show you the average engagement. Top posts from pages I watch. So I watch other pages. Oh, I haven't on here. I've done it on the Danny app page. So I watch other pages that are similar and see what they're doing to know how mine relates to theirs. Scheduling posts, I'll just answer that question real quick. It's right up here in Publishing Tools. Create. So you create something, and down here it says publish, but this little drop down, schedule. You can even backdate. I don't know why you would backdate. You can save as draft, but this is where you schedule them, right here. Okay? All right. Let us go back to our little PowerPoint. So let's talk about some things you need to remember as you're going through all this. Make your call to action easy. And when I say easy, make it easy to do, but also make it easy to track. A lot of the times there's confusion on, well, was that really a good post? Was that really a good blog article? Because there was no real set call to action that you could measure. So you have to be able to measure something. So make it really easy on yourself. Pick a call to action, whether that is likes, sales, shares, comments, whatever it is you want people to do, that's what you want to measure, okay? And set goals. So know what it is. So talking earlier about, is my newsletter working? Well, now you can go back and look at the numbers. Are you getting people to the website off of those blog posts? Maybe you need, or off those newsletters. So maybe it's needing to change up the content, get people to read more, make a clearer call to action, start judging those little things in there and set some goals, because what you really want to do with a newsletter is keep your ideal audience engaged with you and remembering, so that when they want to buy what it is you have to sell, number one, they think of you, but also that you're consistent and you're staying in front, and they know another newsletter's coming, and they're going, you know what, that next newsletter, I'm going to go buy that thing I saw, right? Takes a lot of touches, so you want to keep those touches going and stay in front of people. Measuring gives you knowledge. Knowledge is power. Once you start having the numbers and the metrics and the things to gauge whether you're doing good or not, you can now start repeating more of the stuff that's working, and you can let go of the stuff that's just wasting your time. Really, really powerful stuff. And you can be ready to be flexible and make changes. Big corporations have trouble with this. They have to get a committee together and vote on it and have a bunch of people decide, you know. You don't have to do that. You can change on a dime. If you think something was just a real fall on your face, like, oh my gosh, I'm never doing that again, guess what? Tomorrow you get to wake up and say, I'm never doing that again, and do something different. It's a beautiful thing to have that flexibility in your small business. And remember, the reason we do this is it's not just about having a one-time sale. You don't want to just have a hit and run customer. You want a lifetime customer, meaning they come back and shop from you again and again because they they came, they saw, they shopped, they loved what they got, you followed up, you stayed in front of them, they came back, they bought again, and what you then have over the course of how long you're in business is the lifetime value of a customer. So let's just suppose over, a customer comes back an average of 3 times over a year, and they spend $50 each time. That's $150, right? So now you can determine how much money you can spend on acquiring new customers. If you know the average lifetime value of a customer is $150, why not spend $150? Because if you only get one customer out of it, it pays for itself, with the chances of it getting many more than one customer, which now gives you more of those lifetime customers. There's a little math thrown in there, but that's really what it's about, in knowing how much money do I spend to boost a post? How much money do I spend, to have somebody write my articles? There's your ROI. Your return on investment is your lifetime value of a customer. Make sense? Awesome. And all of this stuff we've been learning over the last 6 sessions, it all works together. You can't just do like one piece and not all the other. That's why I call it a system. It's when you start putting all of the pieces together, and that's why we use gears, to kind of symbolize, be the logo for this. It's when it all is working together, it now becomes your brand consistency, and that value leads to lifetime customers. And I love this saying, business is science. Do it once, you get A. Do it twice, you get A squared. I know, some more math. Unfortunately, we cannot get out of the math in business. It is numbers, it is knowing those numbers, it is knowing metrics and data, and it can be pretty exciting once you understand it. Now, those that know me know I don't like math. It was my worst subject in school. It kind of pulls from the opposite side of the brain that I'm used to working from. But a lot of what was frustrating to me about math was feeling stupid because it took me longer to figure out. It was that I really had to sit and focus and concentrate, which is hard for me. I tend to kind of squirrel. So once I figured out ways to work within that, it wasn't that I couldn't figure out the math. It was just that it was a little more complex for me. The last year, I have really been digging into numbers and math, and I would not be doing my big business venture if I didn't know those numbers. I couldn't. It would be destined to fail. I have to know when you're investing, $50,000, $60,000. I hate even saying that number. You need to know what the ROI on that number is so that it makes money instead of just goes down the drain. And even if it's $10 you're investing, you need to know that that money's not just going down the drain. And by using all this and knowing your numbers, that's going to happen. Are you good on that? So what is on your to-do list from here? So you were given a goals worksheet to fill out. That will be posted over in the Facebook group shortly. Install Google Analytics on your site. If you've got your site up by now, or when you get your site up, make that one of your first things to do is get Google Analytics on there. Even if you're not going to look at that stuff for now, even if you just don't even think you want to know anything about it, you still want to install it so that you have those metrics from here out. Somebody can interpret it for you. Your web person can go in and look at it and tell you what's going on, or they can see if there's any issues. In 1 week from the time you install Google Analytics, note your metrics. Or if you've already had it going and it's in there, go ahead and go note those metrics now. Okay, jot it down somewhere. Take a screenshot. And then in 1 month, look at it. Look and see, have the numbers changed? Are they increasing, decreasing? Is the place where your traffic is coming from changing? Is your demographic changing? That is a time to go back then and look at the content you're putting out, look at how you're improving and fine-tuning your niche, because as you do that, these things are going to change, and that's how you can tell you're making progress and things are working as they should. Look at them monthly. You really don't need to spend a ton of time in there. And again, if it's all just confusing, get someone who understands the data, look at it for you or with you and help you understand what's going on. And now look at what you've been doing and how those two work together. And then last, set goals for any marketing effort you do and track your ROI. Just because this is the last session, this is not the end of the work. This is really just the beginning. And this is a progression. So everything you've done in the past 6 to 8 weeks in working on this is just the foundation laid for now what's going to be a steady increase in the engagement your customers have with you, in your sales conversions, in the audience you have on your social media, and you just build and build and build. And, set those goals so that in 3 years, 5 years, wherever you want to be, you're working towards that through everything you're doing and building your brand. And the Facebook group is not going away. It stays open. We'll be in there. I will probably do some surprise sessions where just will be some Q&A sessions in regular intervals. So I don't want to just at this point say, okay, we're done, you're abandoned. I'm going to stick with you through this because it's exciting for me to see you guys build these brands and develop and put all the pieces in place, and then to hear that the sales have gone up and that it's easier to source and it's easier to bring in new customers. That just brings me so much joy you have no idea, because I just absolutely love this stuff and I know how effective it is. And I hope to watch all of you build your brand, and please ask any questions over on the Facebook group. And with that, go be profitable and make it fun. We will see you out there in social media. Bye, guys.